Welcome to Bamfordrose and another question of the week. This week the question is about anti-corrosion inspections on your Gaydon era Aston Martin. So this is V8 Vantage, DB9, all the way through until, includes the Merc technology cars as well. So if you already own one of these cars, you're going to notice that in the service book there is a stamp for both annual service inspection and an anti-corrosion inspection. You'll probably also notice that the anti-corrosion inspection, even in the early years when the car was predominantly serviced by the franchise dealer network, the space in the service book for the anti-corrosion inspection is seldom stamped. Perhaps the significance of anti-corrosion has come about from legislation. We've come a long way since the days of rusting Morris Ettels and Marinas. And nowadays, with the materials that the cars are made for, close attention to anti-corrosion detail isn't necessarily needed. So on the Aston, let's consider what it's made from. The tub, the chassis is extruded aluminium. The front subframe is again aluminium. In terms of the body, then it's either composite or metal. And when you boil all that lot down, there's only the tubular steel rear subframe, which is open to any corrosion. The dreaded Aston corrosion paint blistering in recent years, the factory haven't considered as corrosion because paint isn't included in that 10-year anti-corrosion legislation. In recent years there seems to be a little bit of a U-turn on that because now certain dealers are rectifying paint corrosion. So if your service book is missing those stamps, I wouldn't worry about it. It doesn't mean that within that 10-year period, if there was some corrosion, your car wouldn't be covered. It's just that on the underside of the car, it's pretty much only the tubular steel rear subframe that is subject to corrosion, and it's going to take way more than 10 years for that surface corrosion, which is easily developed, to turn into anything more significant. A service inspection here by default includes a corrosion inspection, and we just stamp the service book with one stamp to say that the car's been serviced. I'd say that 9 out of 10 cars have got blank spaces in the anti-corrosion section of the service book. Obviously Classic Vanquish is a bit different. The front subframe on that car is steel sections, and there are a few other steel components on the underside of the car that can be subject to corrosion. That car also has some paint blistering issues, which if left too long can eat into the aluminium panels, but if corrected timely, then they can be recovered and repainted without any problem. It would only be on your earlier 90s cars, Virage, going back to DB6, DBS, that a corrosion inspection would be more relevant, but nowadays those cars are restored anyway, and no doubt corrosion inhibitors have been used during the restoration process. So there are a few things to check if you're purchasing an Aston, but apart from the paint blistering corrosion, which you can check for yourself by doing a very thorough examination of each panel, especially at the edges, there's no need to get concerned about any other corrosion on the underside and things that you can't see. As you can see in the pictures here, it's very common for V8 Vantage, DB9, B12 Vantage, DBS, tubular rear subframe to look quite badly surface corroded, but it is just surface corrosion with no real significance at this moment in time. We have refurbed a few of those subframe, we remove it and zinc plate, powder coat, and the problem will never happen again. But that's in extreme of cases where the car has been used during salty winter conditions, stored outside, maybe near the coast. Just those odd cars that have been subjected to corrosion that turns relevant. This is where the mounting brackets of the rear subframe will become weak. Hope that helps out, and as always, if you can like, comment and subscribe, it would really help us.